What is going on, Vikings fans? It's Chaz here with another weekly Vikings player grades, and this is gonna keep getting tougher and tougher as it goes on. It seems, as one word to describe this week against the Titans is pain. Completely collapsed in the second half. Just, I don't know, just tough to watch. Ended up being depressing, and yeah, it seems like the tank for Trevor is becoming more real than I ever thought it would be as a Vikings fan. If we continue to play like this, I'm going to be on the full bandwagon to tank for Trevor. So let's get right into the grades, I suppose. Let's start off with good old Captain Kirk Cousins. I'm actually going to give him an upgrade from over last week. I'm going to give him a C. It's kind of hard to do worse than he did last week. He was 16 for 27 for 251 with 3 touchdowns and 2 picks. Picks weren't really his fault. The first one was a miscommunication with Justin Jefferson. And the second one was at the end of the game where he just threw it up to Adam Thielen and tried to get a first down. Yeah, Kirk, he has little time to throw the ball in situations when we actually need to throw the ball. And it's really predictable when we're going to throw the ball at sometimes. So we really need to get better at that. And what's our problem with going 5 wide on like 3rd and 2 and 3rd and 1? Like, just line up in I formation and give it to Dalvin Cook. I don't understand our play calling sometimes, but anyways, he had a 44.3 QBR with a 96.4 passer rating, and he also added 14 rushing yards because he was running for his life half the time. Getting right into our RBs, Dalvin looked fantastic today. He had 22 carries for 181 yards with an 8.2 average. He looked great. We should have kept feeding him the ball in the clutch times, but we decided to, throw an incomplete pass, and then which resulted the next play in miscommunication between Garrett Bradbury and Kirk Cousins, which resulted in like a 14-yard loss, which put us in a really bad situation. But anyways, he had a touchdown with a 39-yard touchdown run, and he had a fumble that was in the end caused by C.J. Ham, but I'm not going to blame either of them for it. Even though Delvin probably should have hung on to it, it is what it is. Alexander Madison, I'm going to give a C+. He had a sick hurdle over a Titans defender. He had 8 carries for 27 yards for a 3.4 average and a 15-yard run. And that's the run that he hurdled someone. So overall, RBs did quite a good job. No complaints, pretty much. All right, receivers and tight ends. Justin Jefferson. This is what I've been waiting for. Mr. Malcolm Butler over here could not keep up with him. He is obviously washed up. Justin Jefferson, I'm going to give an A. He had 7 receptions for 175 with a 25-yard average, and then he had a 71-yard touchdown on 9 targets. We need to do this every week. We can spread it out with him and Thielen. It'll just be like Diggs and Thielen. Just keep it going. Just don't stop. Titans secondary did not look strong today, and we took advantage of that, but in the end our defense couldn't hold up. I mean, they bent but didn't break, but like Gostkowski just made 6 field goals, and that did not help at all for our cause. So Adam Thielen, I'm gonna give him a B-. He really didn't show up in today's game. He dropped one at the end, which I'm not gonna blame him for, but he could have hauled down the ball on 4th and 24, which got picked. He had 3 receptions for 29 yards for a 9.7 average. He also added a touchdown, and he had a 16-yard catch on 5 targets. Kyle Rudolph, I think he got his first catch this week. I don't know if he got one in week 1 or not, but he had 2 receptions, 11 yards for 5.5. His catch last year was reminiscent of the one against, I think it was Seattle last year, in the back of the end zone, one-handed toe tap. It was really cool to watch, and yeah, he had 3 targets. So I'm gonna give him C+ overall. Dalvin already gave him an A. He only had 2 receptions, which kind of frustrates me. for 18 yards. I think we need to run more of the screen plays like we were last year. I said that last week, but I think we really need to implement that in the offense more. Chad Beebe, just give him an average C. He had 1 catch for 7 yards. Looked good. We didn't target him much, but he returned punts, didn't fumble. And yeah, he had 1 catch on 7 yards on 1 target. And CJ Ham had 1 reception for 11 yards, looking extra elusive out of the backfield. You already know. O-line, terrible. Start of the year. They only allowed 2 sacks, but when Kirk needed time, he didn't get the time, which is really frustrating. Now, I think this is also in part of the coaching and play calling, as it is very predictable when the Vikings are going to pass the ball and when they're going to run the ball. I think we need to run the play action pass more and get the screen game more involved in like quick slants and stuff. Get the ball to Kirk's hands and let the playmakers do what they do. But overall, I'm going to give him a D. They did not look good today. Even though Delvin had a bunch of yards rushing, it strictly went down because of the pass pro. I was very disappointed in that. D-line wasn't great either, and to keep it real, they had 1 sack on the game, not a ton of pressure at all. Yannick Ngakoue had 2 tackles, 1 sack, and it's TFL. It was a strip sack. It was kind of funny because after he stripped Ryan Tannehill, he didn't jump on the ball. He just started celebrating for some reason, which is fine because they didn't score, but like, jump on the ball, my guy. Daniil Hunter should be back like next week or so, hopefully. And yeah, that's my opinion on the D-line. Linebackers, just overall average C. Didn't look great. Didn't look terrible. The whole defense is kind of struggling. Eric Kendricks continues his double-digit tackles with 10 tackles, 6 solo, and 1 pass deflection. Eric Wilson had 4 tackles and 1 TFL. And Todd Davis, the new signing, had 1 tackle. He didn't really show up much. I don't think he played very much. At least I didn't notice him very much. And overall, linebacker just not great, but better than last week. They covered the tight ends better. DBs, D+. They looked awful again. Cam Dantzler and Mike Hughes are both out. Holton Hill did not look good at all. He dropped an interception that would have helped the defense out so much, but you know, he just got torched. I think he had like 7 tackles or something, but that's because they just kept throwing it at him and he just get the tackles. It was kind of disgusting. Harrison Smith had a great game. He's definitely getting my MVP for this game. If Justin Jefferson didn't show out like that, he had 9 tackles, 6 solo tackles, 1 pass deflection, 1 TFL, 1 QB hit, and 1 pick. That's a lot of ones, but he's absolutely filling the stat sheet as of late. And moving on to Anthony Harris, had 8 tackles and 1 pass deflection, but he has not looked great at all. I went back and looked at some film and saw some film on Twitter and stuff on him. He just looked terrible, in my opinion. He's tripping over himself. He's not finishing tackles. He's not playing like how he's being paid right now, and it's kind of frustrating. Because last year we had Jaron Curse, and I loved him as a Vikings fan, and he's on the Lions this year, I think. And I honestly think Jaron Curse made a bigger impact than Anthony Harris at times. So we'll see if he can improve this year, or as the year goes on, and see if we'll be able to re-sign him or not. I don't know if the Vikings will. And then just a little note here, Jeff Gladney is slowly improving. He started off the game a little shaky, but then he started locking down a little bit more. Still lit up some catches, but he didn't look completely terrible like most of our secondary does. And finally, special teams. I'm honestly going to give us a D+. It just didn't wow me today. Amir Abdullah had two returns for 47 yards, which is fine. Nothing you complain about. Dan Bailey missed the field goal, and we lost by 1 point. So that kind of hurts. He made a 41-yarder, which is dope, I guess, and he was 3 for 3 on extra points. So yeah, and then Britton Colquitt, had 44 average with punts. I think he punted 3 times. One of his punts was terrible. I don't know how far it went, but it just went straight up and straight down, and the Titans ended up at like the 40-yard line. It was just disappointing to watch. And yeah, overall this game, first half I'm like, wow, this is the Vikings team from last year. Let's get this done. I was watching it with some friends, and one of my friends is a Titans fan, and I was kind of being a little cocky, and kind of bit me in the butt. And shout out to Garrett. His Titans got the W. They went on to 3-0. My Vikings are 0-3, and if we end up losing to the Texans next week, I am gonna fully be on board for the tank for Trevor. I'm saying that now, and thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this weekly grades video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe. Leave a comment if you want me to change anything, or if you just want more support. And thanks for watching, and I'm out. Peace.